Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. In this one I'm going to take a very shallow dive in kind of a two interest way approach. Usually I dive into either sets or I take a little bit of a look at a player, because I'm definitely a player collector, but I also like to get that variety. I like to get one card from every set if I can. So I search several different players. I try and keep an eye out, especially if they're affordable. Don't have to save up for months and years. But I'm going to show you one of the players that I do collect pretty heavily, and it's Lefty Grove. I feel like he's highly underrated. This is not going to be a full everything I have on Lefty Grove kind of video, but I did just want to show. This is literally like a newspaper cutout or something. You can pick these up a lot of times on eBay if you've never seen something like this, or search for something like this. Maybe it wasn't interesting, but you get like an 8x10 for $5-6. This is usually like 10. So you get these for $5-6. Sometimes they're 15, depending on how big they are, how scarce, condition. Maybe they do have some value, but probably not much. I just think it's cool to have something like that where it's, probably an article written on Lefty Grove and his off-season work or retirement work with a bowling alley in Maryland. So I love that kind of stuff. It makes them, people, not just pitchers. The next piece I wanted to show you, and it's all going to tie into the player and the set that I want to talk about. So I'm really deep diving on a card in this one, but I'm going to set it up with a couple of intros. It's another one of the same thing. It's just a paper cutout, front and back. This one on the back is really cool because it's more of a write-up on some of the players on the team. So you got Grove at the top. I think you got Mickey Cochran back there. On the front, you get Connie Mack and, somebody else I'm not as familiar with. But there's that Lefty Grove image that I feel like is super common. So I'm going to bring this back in just a second. The other piece that has basically the same image, and this is a 1926-29 issue. It's a postcard, which I know some people are not fans of. I love it. I think these are fantastic. I think what I have behind me is one of the reasons I love it so much is if you have the real estate, if you're not talking about just a display case on your wall, but you have some real estate to lay these things out, having something like that where you're not limiting yourself to like a 33 Gaudy or, a 32 US Caramel if you're lucky to snag one of those. I do have one of those too, which I love, but I'm not doing, this is not my Lefty Grove video. I just want to take a look at that. That to me in any condition is straight treasure. So this thing's rough. So what? I love it. And then if you look at it from there, you may notice some similarities in those images. So definitely a reused image. So, I don't know what, a couple weeks ago maybe, I was looking through different offerings, auctions, things like that. I tend to search certain players. I wish I could say it was always, Ruth Gehrig and Ty Cobb and things, but it's not. It's usually those like next tier. I consider Lefty Grove like one of the underappreciated Hall of Famers. 300 wins, triple crowns, strikeouts, wins, ERA, kind of did it all. Fantastic pitcher. And if you name the top 5 lefties of all time and don't have him on that list, shame on you. I think you should be always. So huge fan of him. So I ran a search. I found a set that I did not have a card from, which is kind of like checkmark 1. Checkmark 2, it was Lefty Grove, so that's fantastic. Exactly what I was hoping to find. And so I'm going to show this. I'm going to explain a little bit of what I know about the set. And then I'm also in this video asking for any of the experts in our field, the Johns, the Rick, Dave, Orlando, anyone in that realm that might have some specialized expertise and have even a resource that I can just dive into. If it's a book I can buy, if it's a website I can look at. I've tried the Net54 route. I've Googled everything I can, and I have some good information. But what I found, and again, shame on them for not giving us more interesting images, but I am going to complain 0%. Those two pieces right there are amazing. So this is oversized. That's postcard. This is more like 5x7. This is the W554 set. So when I think R's, I think Butterfingers and other kind of larger oversized things. When I think W's, I usually think of little strip cards. Some of us love them. Some of us find them ugly. Some of us love them and still find some of them ugly. But this is still classified as W. So W554. This set has only 18 cards, so should be easy to complete, except 13 of them are Hall of Famers. There is a Ruth, there is a Gehrig. So you're fighting an uphill battle if you're trying to complete a set on the cheap. That said, it's also very, very scarce. So the Ruth and the Gehrig, looking just at PSA, SGC from what I've seen tends to be pretty similar on this type of item. But there's 23 Ruths graded, I think, and 22 Gehrigs. This one has 6 of one variation and 1 of the other. And that's really where I want to even take like the next level dive. So there's 2 types. There's a type 1 and a type 2. Type 1 is sepia and has the description at the bottom. Type 2 is black and white. I believe there's no description on that. And again, I'm diving in and learning, so resources and any assistance is wonderful and helpful. But if you take a look at the description of that, it says 1930, which I love that it's standard. We all think of the 33 or 32 as a rookie kind of thing. Again, pre-rookie kind of stuff or real rookie kind of stuff is great. So W554, well, one of the things it says on here, Robert M. Grove, middle name Moses, which is cool. It has the Bon Marie, I'm not sure how fancy that gets, ice cream. So with Grove, there are 6 regular labeled PSA graded cards, and there's 1 of these. So really my expertise question, I have very little doubts that between PSA, SGC, and RAW, there's under 100, and maybe there's under 50, and maybe there's 60, 70, whatever. If you're using Ruth and Gehrig as your gauge. I believe Gehrig has 1, and it's not this exact stamp to it. But this one is actually slabbed and marked. Everything I can find just says it is rare. PSA slab, this is 1 of 1. I don't think SGC has labeled any like that. So what I'm curious is, am I holding a 1 in 3? Am I holding a 1 of 1 in existence? It definitely went for a premium over the regular one. And really what happened with my search, I kind of saw that it was the unique, holy cow, there's 1 of those. And I just started to care about it a whole lot more, because even if there was 7, that's still, good golly, maybe there's 15 or 20 or again 50, I don't know. But in terms of graded, there's not a lot of them out there. But is that 1 of 1? Is that 1 of 2 or 3? How scarce is that? Does anyone really have any kind of gauge on that? And if you're not a W554 expert, which I don't blame you for not, where can I look? How can I figure that out? So any kind of guidance and help. I've been to a couple of sports collector websites, read several articles. I feel like I know definitely as much as the basics and could give a good Wikipedia write-up on it, but I want to get a little deeper and find out what do I really have here, or is there really a way of even knowing? Realistically, do we know? I know the variants. I think there's however many listed right now on eBay, and 1 does have this variation to it. But common image, rare set, oversized set, really cool. This thing is graded also as a 1.5. I think it's a 1.5 because there's a little bit of paper loss there. Talk about don't care. I don't think I saw anything else on this. Maybe it's a little bit of fuzziness. It's a 1930 oversized beast. Super happy to have that. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time. I'll do some Lefty Grove stuff later. I probably can't dive into that set because that's all I've got right now. But this is kind of my W554 and like sub, unique branding question and show and tell and just discussion. So anything you do to help me, I appreciate it. I hope anyone else that has anything cool like that to share a story, please do. I love comments. I love links to videos or links to articles, whatever else. So please feel free to share on this video and I will absolutely check it out. Love to learn. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.